So even though Phil Ochs' debut album, All the News That's Fit to Sing, released in 1964, wasn't successful at all, he kept on practicing and practicing his guitar playing, and especially his songwriting. And he played a lot of gigs. He played a lot at colleges and a lot at demonstrations, and he even turned down paid gigs so he could play at a demonstration he supported. So he was very, very busy. His personal life was having some difficulties, or big difficulties. He and his wife Alice and his little daughter split up. They didn't get divorced, but Alice took the daughter and moved away. It was agreed upon, but Phil Ochs had a difficult time accepting that. And so all his focus went into his career, and he kept on writing new songs. And in 1965, he was ready to release an all-acoustic album, his second album, I Ain't Marching Anymore. And man, what a fantastic album this is. Just the confidence you can hear in when comparing it to his debut album. It's amazing. And the first song on the album is the title track, I Ain't Marching Anymore, and immediately you can hear his improvement in playing the guitar. The guitar intro of I Ain't Marching Anymore is absolutely astonishing and great. There's a lot of pace in this song, even though it's all acoustic. There's a lot of emotion. It's a very exciting song. It's an anti-war song about, I think, about the Vietnam War that was escalating at the time in America. And it's about a soldier who has gone to war, of course, and killed many people, done a lot of horrible things, and after many years deciding to never march for the army again. That's what the song is about, and the lyrics is absolutely amazing. So I'd like to read two verses for you. Oh, I marched to the Battle of New Orleans at the end of the early British wars. The young land started growing, the young blood started flowing, but I ain't marching anymore. It's always the old to lead us to the war, and always the young to fall. Now look at what we've won with a saber and a gun. Tell me, is it worth it all? So what a way to start this album, and the confidence you can really hear at the second song. Again, In the Heat of the Summer is a fantastic song. He's fingerpicking his way on the guitar throughout this song, giving 9 verses, telling a story about riots, about city riots, about the emotion, consequences, motives, and all the things about city riots, yes, there. And the melody is quite straightforward. I like that a lot. There's 9 verses, as I said, and it's just a killer song. It's fantastic. You know, it keeps the pace very high of this album. I like his vocals a lot, and the lyrics again is fantastic. Barricades sadly were rising, bricks were heavenly flying, and the loudspeaker drowned like a whispering sound when compared to the angered emotions. And when the fury was over and the shame was replacing the anger, so wrong, but we've been down so long, and we had to make somebody listen in the heat of the summer. Then we get another 2 war songs, you could say. Draft Dodger Rag is a fantastic song. It's a more acclaimed song by Phil Ochs. It's more well known. Just like I Ain't Marching Anymore, which was a famous Phil Ochs song, Draft Dodger Rag was noticed, let's say. And the first time I heard that song was by a cover from Pete Seeger. He covered the song written by Phil Ochs, and he played it on the banjo along with a backing vocalist. It's a lot of fun. It's a very funny song, and I liked it immediately. I loved it. And I think the lyrics is very funny, about a soldier who doesn't want to go to war. He's very scared, well, as he should be. and he thinks he cannot take it, and he's really afraid. But he's afraid in a funny way, and he's explaining why he can't go to war and what would probably happen if he did. Very funny song. Phil Ochs, of course, delivered this song acoustically, like all the other songs. And the next song, That's What I Want to Hear, is a song about a guy who is very resentful and very depressed, let's say. He lost his job and everything. Things that happened a lot at the time and still happens, of course. And is approached by another man who says, come on, join the army or join the movement and get out your frustrations, or your aggression, So it's not really a positive or negative song, it could be both. It's a very high-paced song again. It's a very good song. It's not my favorite. I would give this song an A. Well, I like all the songs on the album. I give the album an A+. And That's What I Want to Hear is another stunner of a song. But I would give it an A. Just a little bit less amazing than the other songs, even though it's still great. Continuing with the album, then we get a very sad, slow song. Quite an emotional song, especially for Phil Ochs. It's called That Was the President. And it's about the 1963 assassination of John F. Kennedy. And Phil Ochs was badly hurt by this. And the song is very beautiful, very touching. I really like it. It's a good song, and a more slow and emotional song, which is something different, which makes this album really great. The next song is about the death penalty, the electric chair, aka Iron Lady. It's a pretty... I actually learned quite a lot by listening to this song. He gives his opinion on the death penalty and tells you what happens, and there are again a lot of lyrics, and these are some of the verses. Have you seen the Iron Lady's charms? Legs of steel, leather on her arms. Taken on a man to die, a life for a life, and an eye for an eye. And death's the Iron Lady in the chair. Stop the murder, deter the crimes away. Only killing shows that killing doesn't pay. Yes, that's the kind of law it takes, and even though we make mistakes, and sometimes send the wrong man to the chair. And of course, Phil Ochs cannot resist giving his own political opinion on the subject matter. He's writing about the hypocrisies and the difficulties and the corrupt issues that come along with a subject like the death penalty, the electric chair. And he has another verse. In the courtroom, watch the balance of the scales. If the price is right, there's time for more appeals. The strings are pulled, the switch is stayed, the finest lawyers' fees are paid, and a rich man never died upon the chair. Then we come to the end of side A with another poem that Phil Ochs has written music to. And this poem is called The Highwayman, and it was released in 1906 and written by Alfred Noyes. It's a very famous and acclaimed poem of the 20th century, and I think this is one of Phil Ochs' better songs. It's a lovely story, very poetic, of course, and I absolutely think it's one of his betters and an absolute fantastic way to end side A. Man, what a listen is this album. And then we flip the vinyl over, and side B is starting again with high-paced Links on the Chain. And that's a song about the obstacles, the difficulties on being in a labor union, in the 20th century. Phil Ochs was very kind or in favor of the working class, he had that political perspective, and this song is about as I said, the obstacles of being in a union, and but the pace and the melody and the lyrics in this song are absolutely exciting. It's a very good song. The melody is quite familiar. It's very good, very unique. I really like it. And then he has a completely different song with Hills of West Virginia, which is a lovely and more beautiful song about a trip he undertook in the hills of West Virginia. And it's just gorgeous with a lot of beautiful imagery. It works perfectly well. And man, this album keeps on giving and giving a lot of great songs. It keeps on being high class. The next song is, The Men Behind the Guns, which is another war song about the difficulties of, being in the army, about soldiers' life. Very beautiful words. I like the melody. It's very good. And also this album has got a talking song. We've got the Talking Birmingham Jam, and again, this talking song is my least favorite song on the album. I do think it's a good song. I would give it an A-. I do really like it. It's better than the 2 talking songs he released on All the News That Is Fit to Sing. Talking Birmingham Jam is good. It's funny. I like it. It's uplifting. You can kind of relax with this song, because he deals, of course, with a lot of difficult subjects. I like it. I like it a lot. And then we get a cover song. I think his first cover song released on his album by this point. It's a song by Ewan MacColl called The Ballad of the Carpenter. And, well, it's a story about Jesus. It's a song about Jesus. And, it's about, his quest or his life or the life of bringing hope and helping the poor and being slain by the rich. I think you could say something like that. Or it comes across that the song is trying to tell this kind of story. It's a beautiful song. It's another slow song. It's a ballad, of course. It's quite the vocal performance is quite fantastic. It's rather touching. I really like the song. It's an old folk song by Ewan MacColl. I'm very happy Phil Ochs released The Ballad of the Carpenter on I Ain't Marching Anymore album. And then this album is almost over. Days of Decision is a fantastic song. Very good. I love it. But the final song on this album is called Here's to the State of Mississippi, and it's absolutely... let me tell you about the song. So Phil Ochs went on a trip to Mississippi, and he always had his notebook with him, and he was writing all the time lyrics or writing about politics. And he had a trip to Mississippi, and he looked around, and he was, in his words, appalled by the racism and by the political system that was going on there. He was very shocked, and as I said, appalled. And he has written like 8 verses. Here's to the state of Mississippi. 8 savage verses. It's a perfect song, but it's absolutely horrible. It's very aggressive, you could say. The melody is unbelievable. You get the chills. It's amazing. I cannot overstate or understate how important this song is, how I love this song. I think it's very good. The melody, for certain, is one of his bests, and is one of my favorite Phil Ochs songs. So I'm gonna read you one verse. Here's to the state of Mississippi, for underneath her borders the devil draws no lines. If you drag her muddy river, nameless bodies you will find. The fat trees of the forest have hid 1,000 crimes. The calendar is lying when it reads the present time. Here's to the land you've torn out the heart of. Mississippi, find yourself another country to be part of. So wow, that's a way to end the album. And then I Ain't Marching Anymore from 1965 is over. What is so important or special about this album is the lyrics, the improvement he makes. And I love Phil Ochs' lyrics so much that I could read out loud every song in this video, but I won't. But kind of to pay my respects in some ways, I like to read you the fantastic poem of the song The Highwaymen. And that's how I'm going to finish this video. So thank you for watching, and here's The Highwaymen. The Highwaymen. The wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees. The moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas. And the road was a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor. And the highwaymen came riding, riding, riding. Yes, the highwaymen came riding up to the old inn door. Over the cobbles he clattered and clashed in the darkened yard. And he tapped with his whip at the window, but all was locked and barred. So he whistled a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair. One kiss, my bonny sweetheart, for I'm after prize tonight, but I shall be back with the yellow gold before the morning light. Yet if they press me sharply, harry me through the day, oh then look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight, and I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way. He did not come at the dawning, no, he did not come at the noon, and out of the tawny sunset before the rise of the moon, when the road was a gypsy's ribbon looping the purple moor, oh, a redcoat troop came marching, marching, marching. King George's men came marching up to the old inn door. And they bound the landlord's daughter with many a sniggering jest, and they bound the musket beside her with the barrel beneath her breast. Now keep good watch, and they kissed her. She heard the dead man say, oh, look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight, and I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way. Look for me by moonlight, hoofbeats ringing clear. Watch for me by moonlight where the deaf that they did not hear. For he rode on the gypsy highway where she breathed one final breath. Then her finger moved in the moonlight, her musket shattered in the moonlight, and it shattered her breast in the moonlight and warned him with her death. Oh, he turned, he spurred on to the west, he did not know who stood. Out with her black hair a-flowing down, drenched with her own red blood. Oh, not till the dawn had he heard it, and his face grew grey to hear. How Bess, the landlord's daughter, the landlord's black-eyed daughter, had watched for her love in the moonlight and died in the darkness there. Back he spurred like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, with a white road smoking behind him and his rapier brandished high. Blood red were his spurs in the golden noon, wine red his velvet coat. When they shot him down on the highway, down like a dog on the highway, and he laid in his blood on the highway with a bunch of lace at his throat. And still on a winter's night, they say, when the wind is in the trees, when the moon is a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas, when the road is a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, oh, the highwayman comes riding, 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 yes, the highwayman comes riding up to the old inn door.